Hello. In this video, we are going to be executing another persistent attack. So I assume, or you should have domain admin access already, because this is a persistent attack. This is not, domain privilege escalation. So you should have domain access right now, because I do, and this only is going to work if you have domain access admin. If you don't have domain access admin, this is not going to work. Okay, so we are going to be doing a AdminSDHolder attack, which means is that we are going to be changing the the AdminSDHolder object, which means that we are going to be making changes to the AdminSDHolder ACL, and this is a persistent attack. So the AdminSDHolder basically is a common attack that a lot of attackers use to gain persistence in a domain. And what happens is that whenever you add any or make any changes to the ACL, this is also going to be making changes to protected accounts and groups. Okay, and those protected groups are domain admins, domain controllers, enterprise admins, replicator, and schema admins, and there's a couple more out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at that list from Microsoft. So I'm going to be showing you over here. So whenever you make any changes to the AdminSDHolder, it is also going to replicate the same permissions that you give to that AdminSDHolder to these accounts: account operators, administrators, backup operators, domain admins, domain controllers, enterprise admin, the KRBTGT print operators, read-only domain controllers, replicators, schema admins, and server operators. So therefore, if you make an ACL change, let's say that you give full access to the security in the ACL to a user, then that user, after the Active Directory replicates those access, it is also going to send it down to these groups. Therefore, we are also going to have full access to account operators, administrators group, back operators, and all those groups in here. And that is a persistent attack. Okay, and you can see over here what the purpose of the AdminSDHolder is, which is to provide templates permission for the protected accounts. And here are the protected accounts and groups in the domain. Okay, so that's what we're going to take a look at right now. And so let's go ahead and start this attack. Like I said, you should have domain admin to be able to do this. So therefore, let's go ahead and do and import Power View. I keep going PowerCat. I don't know how many times I've done that. There we go. Power View. So we have imported Power View. So the first thing that I want to do is that I want to add full control permissions for a user to the AdminSDHolder, and we are going to be doing that using, again, Power View. So there we go. I'm going to copy and paste this command. The way that you do that is doing the add domain object ACL. The target identity is the one that you want to be making the changes to, and the principal identity is who is going to have access to this target. Okay, so this guy over here, the rights that I want to give it is all access, and I just want to do a verbose, and there we go. So as you can see, that has been done, but there is an issue, right? This user right now only has access to the AdminSDHolder and not all the other protected accounts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the domain controller. If we go to AdminSDHolder and you open its security, you can see it in here. It has full control, full access. Okay, and if we go to some of those protected groups like domain admins, security, that student 5 is not in here. Why is that? Because this gets this the AdminSDHolder replicates, I think it's every 60 minutes, but we have a trick to make that change as soon as possible. So the way that we do that is by doing an invoke SD propagator. So let's go ahead and go to the student account again. So since we have domain access, we do have we also have access to the domain controller. So therefore we are going to force that replication so it can go down to all those protected groups. So we are also going to have access to those protected groups, right? We are going to have full access with student 5, just like we have full access to the AdminSDHolder. Okay, so the way that we are going to be doing that, like I said, is that we're going to be using the invoke SD propagator PowerShell script. So let's go ahead and do that. We want to go ahead and create a new session. And we are going to select new PS session. And this new PS session is going to be for computer domain controller. And I want to use the credentials of my current user, which is student 1, which has domain admin access. And let's enter that password. And we have, let's see, a little bit slow too. There we go. So we have created that in there. So the next thing that I want to do is that I want to add the invoke propagator into the session, into my current session. The way that we do that, invoke command, and we are going to invoke the file path, which is invoke I missed that, invoke SD propagator, and we want to add that to the session that we created, and we name that ses, this one over here. Done. So we have added that into our session. Now the next step is to enter the session. So enter PS session, and the session that we want to enter is ses, and that's going to get me into the DC. If you do a host name, you can see that you are now in the domain controller. Who am I? Student 1, which has domain admin access. So then after that, what we want to do is we want to invoke the SD propagator. We're going to show progress, timeouts, 1 minute, and all that good stuff. There we go. So we don't have to, add this file because we already added it from the invoke command. We invoked it into the session. So now we can go ahead and run it. And this one is going to take some time. And after that is done, what's going to happen is, let's go ahead and go to the domain controller. What's going to happen is that that access that we give to the AdminSDHolder, it is also going to be sent right here, student 5. It is also going to be sent to the protected groups. And like I said, we went over the protected groups, who are enterprise admin, domain controllers, domain admins, and schema admins, read-only domain controllers, and a couple more other groups and users, and also the enterprise admin as well, and the KRBTG user and the administrator user as well. So after this is done, we just gotta give it. It takes. There we go. We got now 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and should be done. There we go, done. So now if we go back, you remember before I showed you that we didn't have access to the domain admin ACLs. We go to security, student 5 is in there, full access, boom. What else was the other one? Control the enterprise admins, we also have full access. Let's see, read only, full access. So what happened was it replicated, the AdminSDHolder replicated all those access, as you can see in here. But what happens if somebody, let's say, so they're doing like an audit or whatever, and they go to the domain admins, and they go to properties, security, and they see student 5 has access to it. Why does he have access to it? We don't want him to have access to it. Let's go ahead and remove it. You know what's going to happen when the replication happens again, right? When it propagates those from the AdminSD holder, it is going to send it again. So it is going to be sending it again and again and again and again. So they're going to keep removing it, and it's going to keep coming back because this is how the AdminSD holder works. So if you go back to student and we invoke it again, right? Because we don't want to wait. And what's going to happen is that it is going to be added into the, there we go. It is already there. You can see it in there. It was added again. So if they keep removing it, it's still going to keep coming back because that's how the AdminSD holder works. It is basically a template for the protected groups like domain admins, the read-only domain controllers, enterprise admins, groups, and all the other stuff that we saw from that Microsoft list. Awesome. So that is great. So what can we do from here? We can go ahead and verify that we actually, we verify from here that we have the access. But I'm going to show you if you don't have the access to the domain controller, which you should because you are a domain admin. So I'm going to show you how to do the enumeration after this is done. So if you go to exit to go back to the student hostname use server, what we could do is the first one, since I added for the student 5, what we could do is get domain user and same account name is student 5. I want to get that, making sure that I have the object SID correctly, and I think we do. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to search for get domain object ACL for the domain admins, and the security identifier I wanted to match to this guy over here, and that guy is the student 5. So if you want to see like, oh, let's see if this actually worked, and there we go. We have generic all access. Therefore, we're going to be able to reset password. We're going to be able to do anything to the domain admin. We're going to be able to add a user, add myself, add whoever I want to this group. And another one that you should want to take a look is domain controllers. And we can just go over here and change this to, instead of domain admins, I want to see if we have access to domain controllers. And there we go. Generic all, student 5, access allow to the domain controllers object DN. And the other one is enterprise admin as well. Let's see if we do have access to enterprise admins. And we do the same generic all access allow to the object SID, which is the enterprise admin, and the security identifier, which is student 5. The other one is the replicator. You can just keep going and just verifying everything. And like I said, if they remove you from that, and if they remove you from any of these groups and not the AdminSD holder, what's going to happen is whenever the replication happens again, you are going to get that access again. So replicator is another one. Yep. And the last one that we're going to be doing is schema admins. See if we have access to that. So if you go to schema admins, there we go. Access allow, generic all. So there we go. So in the next video, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be abusing this AdminSD holder. Or we're going to be abusing not the AdminSD holder. We are going to be abusing the domain admin and also the enterprise admin groups. See how you can abuse that.